Hello and welcome. I'm Anna Wells, the Executive Editor of Industrial Distribution. Today I'll be joined in the studio by ID's Managing Editor, Mike Hockett, as well as some of the top experts in distribution, and we'll be walking you through the list of the top 50 industrial distributors based on revenue for fiscal year 2020. Yesterday we identified companies numbered 50 through 31, and today we'll walk you through 30 through 11, leaving you to wait until tomorrow for our top 10. We'll be kicking off our next segment with number 30 company Decour et Cabot, where we account for the global company's North America segment, led by subsidiaries Dillon Supply, BMG Metals, Han Systems, and Profast Supply in the US, covering 50 branch locations and a handful of companies in Canada. A sales decline of just over 4% was not enough to move the company from last year's ranking. At number 29, we have Brillion, Wisconsin-based Endries International, who, at $366 million in sales, saw a bump of 4.3%, enabling the company to climb 3 Big 50 spots. It made 2 acquisitions in 2018, 1 in 2019, along with a new large distribution center in Illinois, and then 3 bolt-ons during 2020. Fastener Service Corporation, All West Components and Fasteners, and K&L Sales, Inc. Company number 28 on our list is Wajax Industrial, who was fairly steady at $387 million in sales. Despite limited losses of around 2% in 2020, Wajax enacted pay cuts across the board to mitigate COVID business impacts, led by a 20% cut for CEO Mark Foote. At 27 is Ann Arbor-based UE Group, a commodity management supplier of abrasives, cutting tools, specialty tools, lubricants, chemical management, gauge management, and MRO supplies. Despite sizable losses last fiscal, UE aims to have additional staffing, product line expansion, and supplier expansion heading into 2022. Number 26 on this year's Big 50 is R.S. Hughes of Sunnyvale, California. 2020 sales were just above flat, and given the declines of other distributors on our list, it was enough to move the company up 2 spots on our list from a year ago. In a year where flat equals good, industrial distributors saw more than their fair share of challenges. For an organization like Affiliated Distributors, whose role is to support independent distributors in their efforts to remain consistent, supply chain hurdles became more significant than ever. Mike Carr, president of AD's U.S. Industrial and Safety Divisions, had this to say.
First of all, we're incredibly proud of our AD members, especially in the last year, on how they managed through the pandemic. Number one, they took care of their people, right? And that was their number one priority, and they did that. And in taking care of their people, they were allowed to support and able to support their customers. And the customers asked for things in the last year that nobody else had envisioned before. We had things that we had to really solve for. And our members are nimble, and they were able to solve for the customer's unknown. And they did that with our best-in-class manufacturers. You know, they really rose to the top to figure out how to solve for their customers while taking care of their people. It was a great job they did. And the lessons that we've learned from our members during this unprecedented time have made AD as a whole better. And when we share those learnings and the ability to solve for their customers through our network groups and for getting our teams together, we really are making a difference. We're really rising everything to the top. And yeah, we are really proud of all that we've done. And I'm proud to say together, AD is winning. We're driving record rebates and sales. And it's a fun time to be here at AD.
Moving into the number 25 slot, we'll be getting some insights from Mike Hockett on Oklahoma-based Blackhawk Industrial.
Based in the Tulsa suburb of Broken Arrow, Blackhawk Industrial managed to move up 1 spot on our list despite an 8.6% sales drop in 2020 to $436 million. It may be the busiest company on the Big 50 over the past 2 years. In 2020, it acquired Costa Mesa, California-based Machine Tool Supply, St. Louis-based J&S Tool, and Irwin, Pennsylvania-based Irwin Tool, and it divested its dealer services unit to Link Systems. This summer, Blackhawk acquired metalworking distributor Argo de Valle in Mexico, and Florida distributors Southern Tool and Machine and Reliant Supply. All that activity is sure to lead Blackhawk toward the $500 million mark for 2021 sales.
At number 24 is Sbp Holdings, the Houston-based owner of Singer Equities, Bishop Lifting Products, and Dakota Fluid Power. The group announced in October of last year that it had completed a refinancing transaction with the intention to fully refinance the company's existing indebtedness and provide the company with capital support for future growth and acquisitions. Proof of that came in June of this year when SBP announced it had acquired Kenco Hydraulics and its subsidiaries. Our number 23 company is privately held Arix, who elected to share their revenue privately for ranking purposes. Arix spent 2020 enhancing channel partnerships, including those with Emerson Industrial Automation and Controls and Continental Conveyor Belt. At 22, we have Ohio Transmission Corporation with $605 million, a respectable decline of less than 1% amidst challenging conditions. At the close of 2020, OTC announced the acquisition of JCI Industries, a provider of pumps, motors, controls, field service, and remanufacturing to customers throughout the Midwest. Bill Kennedy took the helm as CEO in August of 2021. Our number 21 company is Optimus Solutions with $614 million in annual revenue. Optimus took a 29% hit year over year, which in the business context of 2020 meant it only dropped one slot on the Big 50. But true to its name, Optimus is optimistic. Says Daniel Harms, company president, quote, "Building off a solid vision and legacy created around technology and innovation, this is a time of accelerating alignment of our operations to our current and future services." Company number 20 on the Big 50 is Cleveland-based BDI, a distributor who has focused on technology throughout the pandemic. Besides completing a global SAP system implementation in 11 countries, BDI says it will continue to deploy the global BDIExpress.com e-commerce platform in 11 countries in 10 languages. BDI is just one of many large industrial distributors who have looked to technology to enhance their abilities to both mitigate market hazards and enhance their ability to grow. Joining us in the studio is Sally Wrighton, Director of Product Marketing for Epicor Software, with more on the future software needs and functionality requirements of large distributors.
So in the past 18 months, we've seen distributors of all sizes moving towards digitizing their business. As we move forward out of this pandemic, this trend towards digital we really feel will continue, particularly for large distributors. Some of the market activity that we're seeing that's going to be driving these digital investments for these larger distributors are increased security concerns. You can't turn on the news today without hearing about that. Labor shortages are everywhere, and many distributors struggled with attracting and retaining employees or labor prior to the pandemic, and it's become more dire for many of them. And really new ways to prepare for potential supply chain disruptions. Obviously we've seen over the past 18 months how things can be completely disrupted, but a lot of those changes were happening prior to the pandemic as well, with new entrants like Amazon. We saw the Suez Canal, for example, this year as well. So there are a lot of things that can disrupt that supply chain and disrupt distributors. So really making sure that they have the right tools in place. Their ERP can really help with that solution by making sure that they have efficient processes in place, really helping with their inventory levels. And really that acceleration to the cloud, particularly for larger distributors, because they are wanting that additional security that the cloud provides. They also maintain on the most current release when they're in the cloud, and having that peace of mind that their data is secure is really going to be critical as we continue to move forward. I mentioned that labor shortage. The cloud also helps that flexibility to access your ERP system from anywhere, really it's going to help with that remote. We're seeing remote and hybrid work trends continuing after the pandemic, as many employees really want different work arrangements than maybe they had in the past. So we're continuing to see these trends happen. Here at Epicor, we have been ahead of these trends and offering those cloud solutions to distributors, making sure that they understand that value of the cloud, making sure they understand the value of knowing all of their inventory levels and having that efficiency in place. So we look forward to continuing to help these distributors as they move forward post-pandemic and into the future as the market continues to change.
Big 50 company number 19 is Berkshire Tool Supply Group, which is an interesting addition to this year's list. Powered by the Berkshire e-Supply Network, BTSG is an Industry 4.0 metalworking and MRO national distributor. It services the industrial marketplace through a fully digitized supply chain with 3 state-of-the-art distribution centers augmented with over 60 final mile delivery points. Says the company, we provide local technical field sales support and national support to our multi-plant customers, providing streamlined e-sourcing and inventory management. Our vending team provides expertise in turnkey inventory control solutions, and our e-ordering solution offers 2.5 million SKUs from all the major industrial brands. Berkshire is a great example of how major investment firms are getting involved in the industrial supply market in recent years. For more on this, we go to former ID editor and the founder of the Big 50 list, Jack Keogh.
Over the years, we've seen really quite a shift in distribution, especially where you have banking companies, investment firms entering into the exciting field of industrial distribution. I asked one of the executives from one of these investment firms, why are you going into distribution? And they said, it's a mature industry, steady returns, it's going to be around, and they have some great people within the sector. Well, that certainly is the case. So we've seen many companies coming in. Certainly in the past 4 years, one of the most interesting ones is the Berkshire Hathaway group, or Berkshire Hathaway e-Supply. They were formed when they purchased Production Supply, one of our traditional Big 50 wholesale distributors. Berkshire, of course, is run or overseen by Warren Buffett, the legendary investor of the Oracle of Omaha. Berkshire Hathaway has been investing in fields associated or close to industrial distribution, for example, the transportation, the logistics side, but they've also invested in, if you remember several years ago, with an industrial chemical company. They spent almost $8 billion on that company. They like the returns they're getting. They like the people, obviously, that are running these companies. So in 2017, they purchased Production Supply, as I mentioned, and that proved to be a pretty good decision for them.
At number 18 on this year's list is Bloomfield, Connecticut's Kaman Distribution Group. Mike, what can you tell us about Kaman?
Kaman Distribution Group is the first on our list to crack the $1 billion mark, with 2020 sales right at that figure. 2020 marked Kaman Distribution Group's first full year as a standalone company after separating from Kaman Corp in 2019. In early 2020, KDG announced the acquisition of Ball Seal Engineering. Based in Foothill Ranch, California, Ball Seal is a provider of design, development, and manufacturing of highly engineered products that include precision springs, seals, and contacts. In addition to multiple executive hires made in 2020, Todd Boone joined the company earlier this year as VP and GM of Kaman Automation. Throughout 2021, KDG has celebrated the 50th anniversary of its founding.
DXP Enterprises takes our number 17 spot, a distributor who buffered a challenging year by making strides in acquisitive growth. Specifically, DXP closed out 2020 by announcing the acquisition of 4 pumping distributors, including Total Equipment Company, APO Pumps and Compressors, including Corporate Equipment Company, and Pumping Solutions, Inc. Since then, the company has acquired Tampa, Florida-based water management products distributor Carter & Verplank, and its sales, which dipped more than 20% in 2020, have improved significantly year over year. Our number 16 company represents a bright spot on the list, and that's because Port Washington, New York-based Global Industrial Company has increased sales nearly 9% in the pandemic year. Here to tell us about it is Global Industrial CEO Barry Litwin.
Quite an unexpected year. I think first for us was really focus on associate safety and well-being. It actually became a company rally cry for us to really kind of unite and pull the company together in a pretty challenging time that we didn't really know what the end game was going to look like. We really had leveraged our roll up of sleeves, kind of get it done culture to really focus on sourcing of masks and sanitizer. That clearly became the assortment of the day. And I think our ability to really go out and find that product and service our customers was a massive win for us, going forward. I think on top of that, we had introduced really a groundbreaking marketing strategy at the time called R3 to really help businesses kind of understand that, global was really helping them focus on how they can restore their facility, how they can, help their associates return to work, and to come to us as a place to help them rebound their business. And that became kind of a sales anthem for us the entire year, and I think opened us up to a lot more customers than just people that were looking for sanitizer and masks. And I think that's really helped us carry forward. And then, when you think about the basics of it, a lot of companies, were kind of figuring out how are they going to reinvent themselves, either during or post pandemic. But for us, we have what's called the ACE strategy. It stands for Accelerating the Customer Experience. It was really a foundational strategy for us that really helped us reposition the company in early 2019 around serving customers at a deeper level. That really grounded our business to really start the year. And, we had already committed to strengthening our fulfillment to help us ship faster, expanding our sales force and fine-tuning our multi-channel sales model. Investing heavy into digital to help B2B customers become serviced more with a consumer-like experience, focusing on our global private brand product and increasing talent and capabilities in the business. So we already had a path that we were on, and 2020, we were able to kind of pivot off that to address the needs, and then we put ourselves right back on the path going forward, and we're still executing on that strategy today.
At number 15 is Wolseley Industrial Group, who elected to keep their sales figure confidential. The company has had an active year on a global scale, announcing in June of 2020 that it would integrate its Canada business from 3 operating regions into 2. More recently, the company's parent, Ferguson plc, announced it would divest Wolseley UK. The buyer, private equity firm Clayton, Dubilier & Rice, also acquired HD Supply's Whitecap unit and Epicor in the second half of 2020. At number 14, FW Web posted a healthy gain of 10.8% over 2019, and the company has continued down the path toward acquisitive growth. In March, the company announced the purchase of Western Connecticut wholesale distributor Danbury Plumbing and HVAC Supply Company. The company also opened a new 60,000 square foot location in West Babylon, New York. Perhaps one of the most interesting case studies on pandemic-related adjustments is our next company, Now Incorporated, who lands at number 13. For more on Now's unique journey is Mike Hockett.
Houston-based Now Inc., doing business primarily as Distribution Now, peaked on the Big 50 in 2019 at number 9 with $3.13 billion in 2018 sales, but the oilfield products distributor underwent a significant downsizing in the 2 years since and is now operating at roughly half that footprint. It appears headed in the right direction, as DNow posted quarterly sequential sales gains in Q1 and Q2 of this year, and the company's net losses, which topped a whopping $300 million in Q1 of 2020, shrank to just $2 million in Q2 of this year. In early 2021, DNow acquired the Odessa, Texas-based FlexFlow pumping business from GR Energy.
Our number 12 company on this year's Big 50 is Valen, the industrial products subsidiary of Sonepar. 2020 brought a promotion for then president of its U.S. division, Chuck Delf, to president of Valen North America, a position in which he is responsible for operations in Canada and Mexico, in addition to the United States. And wrapping up our second segment is number 11 on the Big 50 Worth Industry North America with $2.3 billion in sales. In 2020, WINA acquired Technitool Inc., a strong brand with 41 years of history supporting the machining, metalworking, and industrial industries, and welcomed Florida-based Worth Action Bolt & Tool to its Worth Construction Services division. Worth called 2020, quote, a challenging year overall, though they say the WINA organization and leadership were committed to executing strategic plans that were in place and acting on available opportunities to grow our product and service offering to best serve our customers, even in light of the pandemic. That's it for part 2 of this year's Big 50 List Countdown. A special thank you to our platinum sponsor, Epicor Software. Be sure to join us tomorrow, where we reveal the top 10 Big 50 companies. And a big congratulations to all of the companies we've named thus far. Thanks for joining us.